guys, welcome back to the Valor channel. Today I want to introduce a new bracelet. This bracelet was inspired by my grandpa. It's gunmetal gray. It says Valor, glow in the dark, and in the back it says the cowboy rides away. One day I was scrolling through my videos that I have on my computer and I came across this video that I never finished. And as I was watching it, I got inspired to finish it and to come out with this bracelet. My grandpa, for me, had inspired me throughout my life to get at it, work hard. Like that cowboy up kind of strength, cowgirl up kind of strength. And for me, cowboy up is like a whole different type of strength. The next clip is the story of the incident that took place and what it was like for my brothers, their whole experience with it all. And it's very touching, and it took me back to that time on how I felt for them, and I wanted to share it. And I thought, how come I didn't finish this video? But now thinking about it, I feel like right now is the perfect time for me to finish it and give closure to my brothers and my dad, because I think they need it the most at this point in their life.
I would do holy hours every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And that morning I was having a hard time getting up, so I texted Ferdinand, which was in the next bedroom, that if he would go do my holy hour for me. And he said, okay. And I told him, and take your brother with you. And he said, okay. And shortly after, I get a phone call, and it's Julius, and he tells me, Mom, we can't do your holy hour because I guess Grandpa had an accident, so we're turning around.
Tell me about that day when Grandpa died.
Me and Julius were on our way tomorrow, and then we got a phone call from Grandpa, and I could tell in his voice right away something was wrong because he was like hurting.
I had just woken up and Mom texted me. She said, Mijito, I don't feel good. You and Ferdinand should go do my holy hour. They had just given Ferdinand the Durmax around that time, so we were going on that. And I remember we were by Miss Evelyn's, and Ferdinand gets a phone call, and it said Grandpa on the screen when he answered. But the way Grandpa was screaming and yelling, like, I didn't recognize the voice. Ferdinand was even like, what the heck? Hello? Like, And then just Grandpa spit out 2 words finally. He's like, the Canovas, the bike flipped. And so me and Fernand just turned around and started hauling ass over here.
He just said the bike and the Canovas. So I said, alright, I'll be right there.
And I asked Fernand, I was like, what's the Canovas, the across the house or the other side? And he's like, I think across the house. So we weren't even sure, like positive.
So we hung up, and at that time, this 4-wheeler that we had, you had to like pull start it. And I didn't have the strength to do it anymore, but I remember they had taught Candace how to do it. So I got a backpack and I was throwing Band-Aids and water and stuff because I didn't know how they were going to find him. I had no idea, and a towel and stuff, what I thought they might need. And by that time, he's already flying in the truck up the mountain, which I knew the truck could only go to a certain point.
So I was like, or I think Fernand told me, he's like, I'm going to go straight back there on the truck. I'm going to drop you off at the road for the 4-wheeler. So call Mom to have it ready. So when I called Mom, she started getting things ready. And when I ran out there, she came out with the keys in a backpack with some towels and water and whatever. And she's like, I'm going with you guys. So I was like, okay. So me and Mom took off on the 4-wheeler. And by the time we got to the last gate, Ferdinand was parked waiting for us.
And sure enough, as soon as we cut up to that point, Ferdinand was off the truck. And they told me, get off, because it's easier to travel without you. So I got off, and Ferdinand and Julius took the backpack and they jumped on the bike and they left.
Mom jumped into the truck, and me and Ferdinand jumped on the four-wheeler and took off. And we were trying to follow some old tracks. And the open area, there's the bottom road to go to the open area, and then that top road to go to the open, not to go on top of the open area.
And then I get a call from Julius telling me that they can't find him. And my only answer to that was ask St. Anthony to help you find him. I don't know what else. Just keep looking.
Well, me and Ferdinand took the bottom road, past the swings, went to the open area. Once we got to the open area, because that's the furthest you could pretty much go, we're like, he can't be here. So we didn't want to come all the way back to hit that high road, so Ferdinand just went straight up, and he was going on the four-wheeler straight up, and he was about to flip, so I jumped off the bike and ran up. And since I ran up while he was still trying to make his way up, I ran up the top road just to go see if Grandpa was up there. So I started running up the top road. By the time Ferdinand got over that, I was already back, and we jumped on the bike and started heading down. So when we were heading down, we came from the top side. We didn't come from the bottom side where Grandpa was at. We came from the top side, and all we seen was the bike. We didn't see nothing. We just seen the bike. And then right when we drove even to his bike, we just seen 2 feet under the bike.
They found him.
By the time we found the bike, it was too late.
And those were Grandpa's feet. And both of us right away jumped off our four-wheeler, went rolled down, we didn't even care. Tried flipping Grandpa's four-wheeler over, and I remember it being heavy, and we couldn't do it at first, and then we finally did it.
We flipped the four-wheeler off of him.
That four-wheeler just went down and smacked the tree. Grandpa was laying under the arroyo, or little ditch, and his back was pressed from the four-wheeler, smashing him like that so he couldn't breathe. And then Ferdinand flipped him over and gave him CPR.
I didn't try to give it in CPR.
They called Zachary because they knew they needed to do CPR.
And I ran down to go find Mom. Got Mom, took her up there, went down for the ambulance, brought the ambulance up, and then the ambulance, once they said he was dead, I was just there for a while.
When my grandpa died, I got to chuck one. And I remember I made it up the mountain to where they were all waiting for the ambulance. Like I said, I understand death, and he lived his life. But what was so tragic about that accident was because it was 1 month after my sister's, and my brothers adored him. They adored my grandpa. So when I made it up the mountain and I got there, it killed me because I see one brother just sitting there emotionless. I see my other brother just like, he couldn't understand why right away, like just hit him again. I didn't like seeing my brothers like that. So sad. And so I went to my brothers, and the first thing JR says is, I couldn't help him. I couldn't help him. He called me. He called me, and I couldn't help him. I didn't know what to tell him. I said, JR, you know, it was his time. And you did everything you could, you know, when you found him. Or just told me, he was like, he always picks me up every morning to go with him. Every morning. How come he didn't pick me up this morning? So I think the fact, just seeing that they were devastated, seeing one of their idols, you know, gone, it killed me to see my brothers like that.
I felt really bad because at that point of their life, they were so young, and Grandpa was their mentor. He was their best friend and their confidant. Like, he was their safety net. They knew that with him they were safe. And whatever he was teaching them, they knew that that was the honest truth. They trusted him. But even though it felt like it was such a short time, he taught them so much. And he gave them the stepping stone that they needed to be good men in this world, to be confident and to succeed. Because I don't think there's not one thing that those three boys cannot do.
I'm just gonna believe it, because, like, I don't know.
What was Grandpa to you?
He was my number one. I love my grandpa. He was my best friend.
It was his turn to leave. And he had to leave in my hands. Because he knew that I would get him to get his last rites. I was able to call Father, and he made it. He made it to give him his last rites.
The best thing he taught me was just to be an honest person, hardworking, and to not get involved with trouble.
What would you tell people that has gone through the same thing?
Just to keep believing in God, and He does things for a reason. He has plans. Don't give up.
And last question. What made you get the tattoo?
Well, because when Vanessa first told me that she got the tattoo, I was kind of like surprised, because she had been saying her whole life and stuff she didn't want to get no tattoos or do anything like that to her body. And she put that on her arm, and it meant a lot to me, because that's what she used to always think about. Just made me happier, because it's gonna be my only tattoo, and it was hers only tattoo, and it really helped her out whenever she was going through rough times. And every time I look at it, it reminds me of her. So
That was a good answer.